Hey, welcome to the Jerletha McDonald Show, where we discuss everything childcare and provide a platform for early educators to shine. I'm your host, Jerletha McDonald, and I have been celebrating Black early childhood educators in the month of February. And today I'm celebrating LJ Henderson. She is the founder and CEO of STEM Academy based out of the Houston area, and she also owns another childcare facility as well. I'm going to let her tell you about all the wonderful work that she and her family is doing in the Houston and surrounding areas. Hey, LJ, how are you today?
I am doing wonderful. How are you, Jerletha? Thanks so much for creating this platform for us educators that are out here doing great work all around the state.
Yes. And so I'm so excited to get to you to talk about the new thing that you have, the new project that you have out, your STEM Academy, and all the other things that you do. And so, LJ, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and why did you get into the field of early care and education?
Yeah, so as she said, I'm LJ Henderson. I am a pediatric speech therapist by trade. I've been in the field of education and pediatric therapy for over 25 years now, but I actually started the 24-hour childcare center based out of my own family's needs. I started a transportation company to help me get my daughter to and from school. And later that turned into me needing extended hour care. I couldn't find anyone to do that. So my husband and I started our own 24-hour childcare center. And I continued to work as a therapist, but there was a gap I felt in the education system. Once students left the early childhood intervention program, there was nowhere for them to go. They couldn't get into Head Start. And I saw so many students starting kindergarten, failing kindergarten, not being prepared, ending up on speech therapy caseloads. And I said, I need to do something about it. At the time, I had my own private practice. I closed my practice and I began focusing on educating students, preparing them to be what we call Texas School Ready, and participating in those programs and making certain that they have an early foundation. So that's how I started my first center, Taking Kids Places. And just recently, November of 2020, I expanded to now have the first pre-K STEM school in my area. And we focus strictly on preparing pre-K students in the area of STEM. And no one else around me is doing that. So we're truly excited to be the first to offer that to our community.
Yes, it is amazing, you guys. If you have not checked it out, please go to her Facebook page and follow both of her childcare, both of her early education centers, the STEM Academy and the other one. We will post them in the comment section at the end of the interview. But make sure you go by and check out her social media pages. You will not be disappointed, and especially if you are in the Houston area and you're looking for a pre-K center for your child, go to the STEM Academy. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And so thank you for sharing that with us, LJ. So LJ, who in Black history inspired you and why?
Well, Dr. Thomas F. Freeman was my, I think, greatest inspiration of all time. Most people don't know that. Right now, if you look on my wall behind me, I have three degrees. I have a master's in education and a master's in speech therapy. And my undergraduate degree was in communicative disorders from Texas Southern University. But I was a student that no one ever talked to me about going to college. Dr. Freeman was the one that inspired me because at that time, our debate team had won an international competition in Paris and we made the local news. And so I was like, oh my God, who are these people? And I wanted to know more about debate. Walked into his office. He asked me to read a script. I read a script. I'm sure I didn't do very good, but he saw something in me that I had never seen in myself. He saw potential in me that I had never seen. Invited me to a tournament that weekend. I went to the tournament, participated in 7 events, many of which I could not pronounce. Except like, what is that? And some of the competitions made me very uncomfortable. But I learned in that moment, it stretched me, it stretched my imagination, it gave me exposure. And at that particular competition, I won first place in one of the rounds that I was in. And that was the first time that our university had won at that particular tournament in 17 years. And that's where my passion for public speaking and debate came from. And I've went on to win awards for the state, nationally and internationally in public speaking and debate. So he's my hero forever and always. Rest in peace, Dr. Thomas F. Freeman. And for those of you who don't know, Barbara Jordan and MLK both were under his tutelage at Texas Southern University.
Wow, how amazing is that? And so you said something that stuck out to me. You said that he's seeing something in you that you didn't even see yourself. And so I know that is something that you do in your in every day at your early childhood centers. So why would you say that's important that your teachers, your staff at your child care facilities, point out special gifts in children when you guys see them? Why is that important?
Because when we all know that we need to teach to the multiple intelligences, and sometimes the kid that gives us the most difficult time, or sometimes the most creative, the most innovative, and they just have not had anyone to, or someone to channel their energy sometimes. And so a lot of times I tell my teachers, and one of the mottos that I live by is that children are like film, FILM. Children are like film. The more you expose them, the more they will develop. So that's why we always create opportunities for exposures. We bring people in from the community, and our teachers, I'm always stretching my teachers to go the extra mile to make this project look different. We're not going to do the same thing we did last year. We're not going to read Cat in the Hat the same way, even though we're coming up on, how are you going to make that come alive? What are you going to do different to bring exposure, to bring that opportunity, and then create opportunities for the students? Like our 3-year-olds and our 4-year-olds had to do Black History projects, and they had to get up and present. Were all of them stellar? No, but it's about that opportunity, that exposure. And one of the parents was like, oh my God, I'm a horrible public speaker. When I was in junior high, I vomited in my class when I had to speak. And I'm like, that's why it's important that we expose these kids now, so that they're not in junior high about to vomit if they have to speak in front of someone. Teach them that they have a voice and that their voice has power.
Yes. And you said exposure. That's another word that caught my attention. So recently, I seen you had a very special visitor at your STEM Academy. Didn't you have an astronaut come and speak to your children? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so we did. Right now, because of COVID, it was virtual. But
Okay.
yes, they did actually have a virtual conference call with an astronaut. They were able to ask questions. They were astronauts from Virgin Galactic. So Virgin Galactic pretty much has a program right now where they're trying to have citizens be able to travel to the moon. They believe that modern day citizens like you and I need to be able to go to the moon. It costs about $250,000, but right now that's their mission. And they have provided a few resources to our center. And so they were able to ask questions like, can you bring your pet with you when you travel? And they were like, no, only humans at this time. But it was pretty cool that they were able to, one, talk to an astronaut that's actually worked on not only the aircraft, but actually flown.
So LJ, what advice would you give to an up and coming Black early childhood educator, one who's thinking about getting into the field or one who's already in the field and wants to expand her career?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I would say niches build riches. So I know a lot of times we don't go into it for the money, but the money will come if you provide value. So find a way to do something unique and add value to the community, and your business will always be profitable and you will always have an opportunity for expansion. Find a need, meet the need of the community, and want no more.
You are absolutely right. Thank you so much for sharing that wonderful advice. And it is true. It is true. Niches, like find what you're good at and make money doing it, because you're good at it and you don't mind getting up to work. That's great advice. So thank you, LJ, for sharing. And thank you all for tuning in to the Jerletha McDonald Show, where we discuss everything childcare and provide a platform for early educators to shine. See you later.
Thanks to our sponsors, Emblem Group and Daycare Time Solutions.